leader over here in Solana. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but it is my great pleasure to bring onto the stage the co-founder of Etherfuse, Dave!
He knows the best hype man. Am I sitting down all right? Yeah, all right. I'm going to walk across the stage. I feel like Solana's like a bunch of people who hang out in different countries and we don't know where each other's from, but we see each other all the time. So good to see everybody. Good to see you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. So I'm going to go over what Etherfuse is and talk about why I'm in Korea specifically. But we do something that is, I think, pretty awesome and will be in demand at some point, hopefully before we run out of money. So that'll be nice. But we're Etherfuse. I'm Dave. We've been around for a little bit, and our mission has been to make all sovereign debt accessible on-chain. We view sovereign debt as this primitive for financial infrastructure. I don't know that has been understood yet by the world, but we think that before you can do anything, the risk-free rate needs to be available to build something on top of it. So AJ and I, we co-founded this company and been going at it for about 3 years, and we primarily started on Solana, and we've built up quite a bit of friends here and ecosystem here, and so excited to be back. We have 2 core products. I'm going to talk about one, but we do stable bonds. Stable bonds are tokenized short-term treasuries from different currencies issued as an interest-bearing stablecoin. They're freely transferable, and they can be minted or burned by anybody, including retail. And we also issue something called a sovereign coin. Now, a sovereign coin is fundamentally just a stable coin, except for it is collateralized by our stable bonds. And why that's interesting is since we have enabled you to have access to short-term treasuries or cash-like equivalents from other countries, you can now issue a payments token, a sovereign coin, from a different currency that is fully collateralized by that currency through our stable bonds from anywhere in the world. So from the US, you can issue a Mexican peso, and we think that is pretty interesting. This market that we feel our stable bonds addresses is huge. Everyone cites these numbers because they're giant, but it's no joke. The global bond market is $2.4 trillion per day. The remittance market is about $2.4 billion per day, and the foreign exchange market is about $7.5 trillion. And I think what's exciting is that when we're all working together, this is really a market that we're tackling, and that we have a real opportunity to impact. And that's, I think, leads to the strength of the blockchain, the strength of Solana, is that we have this new awesome technology like the internet compared to the newspaper, and we can win this space. Today, we have a pretty large global presence. We have issuers from all over the world, which I think is pretty amazing. And people who buy foreign debt from wherever they're from and hold those assets. And it's pretty interesting, you know, there's stable bonds stable coins are primarily issued in the dollar, but there is a lot of interest for other assets, especially now that the dollar's kind of declined in value quite a bit this year. I think we're going to see more. So this is a simplified version of something complicated, but that can be easily described as you give us money or crypto, we take that, and whatever asset you're trying to buy, we convert it to fiat, and we buy a short-term treasury of that currency. And we hold it, and we custody it for you. It's completely bankruptcy remote. You own it as a token holder. You have a claim to that. It's segregated and held, and the token we issue you is a reward-bearing asset that increases in value at the rate of the asset that it's collateralized by. So those yield rates are set by the central bank of those countries. So we try to be as boring as possible by not doing anything other than passing that value on to you. It's synthetic access through a token. So what does this solve? I want to explain to you something that's really annoying. If you're in Latin America and you're in Brazil and you want to send your Mexican friend some money, right now the cheapest way to do that is through stablecoins. And historically, it's followed the same route. So what you do is you get yourself some USDT by purchasing it with BRL. And so you hit FX into the dollar, you pay a fee to do that. Then you send your money to your friend in Mexico, and if he wants to convert that to the peso, he has to convert that from the dollar to the peso. So you've hit foreign exchange twice just to send your money from one country to the next. And you would say the fact that the dollar has to be in the middle is a mistake, it's an inefficiency. But it has become the de facto rails of the world, and historically SWIFT has done the same thing too. So what we do is by bringing these treasuries on chain, we create a reward mechanism to LP these assets to create the rails for you to go direct without any foreign currency that's not involved in your exchange. So they are low cost, they instantly settle, there's no intermediaries or different currencies, there's no slippage, and it's 24/7 access. So here is a different example. You could use our assets, Etherfuse stable bonds, and you could go from the BRL, a real, that's what we call it, into one of our assets that are on-chain in DeFi. So an interest-bearing Brazilian treasury called the Tesouro. While you're holding that, you're earning yield, you're making money. It also was free. You weren't charged any FX because you're in the same currency. Then you want to send your asset to your friend in Mexico. You convert your Tesoro to CETES, which are Mexican treasuries. These assets can be LP'd on chain because their yield compensates for any fluctuation of itself against the dollar, unlike fiat. Your trade fee that you get once instead of twice is totally dependent on DeFi and the depth that it's available to you. But it is way cheaper than the current way that we do it today. So you can send money from Brazil to Mexico without the US dollar or 2 FX hits, or you've cut your cost down by quite a bit. Another example, here in Korea or in the US, we don't really have a hard time getting access to yield. We can put our money in a bank account. But a lot of places in Latin America, there are not really a lot of options for you to have good savings accounts and things like that. Our assets act as safe stores of value. They're treasuries, 100% collateralized. So you can go straight from a bank in Mexico to our CETES product, store it in your treasury, earn yield, and you have liquidity immediately whenever you need to call that back into fiat. And it goes direct from fiat to asset and back. It's a pretty cool product. So we're live today in Mexico, Brazil, the US, UK, and all over Europe. And we're still working on some of our rails, but for the most part, you can issue these assets straight from fiat, on-chain, denominated in these foreign currencies, and in these key markets. And as Anna from Beretta said earlier, we are looking to bring the rest of the world on-chain. Right now, stablecoins are predominantly denominated in dollar. Our mission is to bring everything else. So the world right now operates about 50% in the dollar and 50% in everything else. So we believe there will be a regression back to the mean as stablecoins catch up. So right now this number of 99.5% is unrealistic. We think countries will push back against this. And we hope stablecoins to be that product. So as part of that, I want to announce a partnership we're doing with someone you know in Korea who's going to help us achieve 3 times the amount of markets we have. And so I'd like to bring up my friend, Jake. Not working. So we have partnered with Shinhan Securities to add more assets.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zayden Hong again, and working at Shinhan Securities as an Alphabet product manager. And I'm really honored to be partnered with Etherfuse to launch and bring the stable bond product to this market. And we'll provide a fully licensed financial infrastructure to launch the stable bonds. Yeah.
And this is just a visual of where we've come from to where the assets we're achieving. We will add assets from most of Southeast Asia, all over Europe, and a lot more. I'd say the top 20 to 30 markets we will have. So really appreciate for this and excited for it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.